Kia ora, and welcome to another How To Plus Q&A event. My name is Anna-Mari Fanthorpe, and I'll be your host today. Today, we have two guests here from Coversure. We've got Brent and Jason, and we're going to be talking about their journey. Their journey as in the financial sector. So on Fridays these days, we have been featuring small business owners just like yourself and hearing about their story, their challenges and successes, and the digital tools that they use to make their business run and have become a success. And even some of the tools they used to use and why they switched. So this is a great opportunity for you to talk to folks in your same sector and ask them questions that you might have, maybe challenges that you've had that you want to know how they overcame those challenges, or you can ask me some questions if you've got some questions. Now, in order to engage with us, because it's a webinar, drop your questions in the comment section, the chat function, the Q&A function, depending on what platform you're streaming from, and we'll endeavor to get your questions answered kind of throughout, but possibly at the end of the session, depending on what the question is. So I just want to welcome you, Brent and Jason. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Honestly, you've got a really good story, and we're going to kick right into that. While I get all the chat set up, I'm just going to leave you to kind of talk about, why you got started, how you got started, how did Coversure come about? Was that the true beginning, or has it evolved over time?
Yeah, so Coversure started about two and a half years ago, and it was initially just a life insurance brokerage that I had started up, and then we expanded, we grew a team, and it's pretty cool now because when the life insurance side of things started taking off, I found out an old colleague of mine was starting his own thing. So Brent, I'll let you take that part away, man.
Yeah, so when I decided to set up my own brokerage, it just sort of felt like a natural fit to join with Jason so that we could offer a full service insurance brokerage. And from then on, we've been really pleased with the results I think that we've shared over the last 12 months. We do have the odd, had some challenges around our different platforms and that, and how we have managed to sort of overcome those challenges. It's been a great experience for the both of us, I think, and the relationship's working really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing is now is that Coversure as a brand can now not only does life insurance, but with Brent now under the same brand, we can expand to do fire in general, which is like your house, car, contents, and provide more services and products to our clients nationwide. And since starting, we now have advisors all over New Zealand. We're having an advisor based in Christchurch in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. So that's really exciting. It's just on the up and up. And like Brent said before, there were some teething issues, but by embracing technology, we've been able to work together really, really well to deliver that high quality service, and also providing just some stress-free problem solvings for our advisors as well. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, having our advisors spread across the whole country, I think that, like technology certainly played a big role in being able to basically make us as one team, and have that whole team sort of culture and feel still involved within our business has been that's been a huge benefit for us, and it's basically allowed us to grow so rapidly.
So how many people do you have in your team now, would you say?
So we have about 10. So we were actually one of the lucky businesses that I would say exploded during the first lockdown. And that just happened just by helping friends out who were unfortunately losing their jobs, and by some guidance and help through us, they've changed their career paths entirely and are now working in the insurance sector. So we now have 10. We recently took on someone based in Wanganui, and again, that's only through embracing and using technology, we're able to expand out of Auckland at such a fast rate. yeah, so it's been great.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit further on, about how you had to kind of pivot or evolve into a different way of communicating with your clients. But I know that you kind of spoke about the challenges of bringing the businesses together and the different platforms. Do you want to speak a little bit more about some of those challenges before we get into your successes?
It was almost like a Brady Bunch sort of blended family approach, Brent? Yeah, so basically, Brent's business and my business, we're two separate entities working under an umbrella, which is Coversure. Because we specialize in life insurance, we use completely different platforms to what Brent uses. And these platforms really serve our clients really, really well. If we were to look at other platforms that sort of have one all wraparound service, we sort of find that some parts sort of drop off in delivering the services that our clients deserve. So by sticking to our true core services that we can offer, and by not compromising, we had to figure out a way to work together. So the technologies that we use are simple products such as jot forms, integration, also social media platforms has been really beneficial for us.
Yeah, hugely.
And by keeping those, by having technology that bridges the gap, it's been great. But it wasn't easy to get there, Brent? It wasn't smooth sailing.
Yeah, you're right. There's a few little like sort of teething challenges early on, but I think like for us, I think what's probably important is like it wasn't like an expensive fix. It was just sort of like using stuff that we already had that was available to us and using it a little bit more effectively. So simple things like Messenger, for example, not only is a great team thing, but it's also allowed us to communicate about, customers basically in real time, and be able to share that information that we need to instantaneously. So, yeah.
Now let's move on to some of the successes. Success isn't always measured financially. It can be measured in a lot of different ways. And I'd love to hear about how you feel Coversure has become a success, and what are some of the milestones you have reached through your journey that you've recognized?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think with Coversure, we measure our successes on two main factors, which is the retention of our clients and also the retention of our team. So I'm really, really proud to say that all our team has stuck together. Like we haven't, no one's left us intentionally, so to speak, which is great. But the biggest thing as well is that Coversure as an insurance brokerage has a 96% retention rate of our clients. And that's really, really important to us because that's saying that we're doing the right stuff. We're doing the right things by not only our staff, but also by clients. And if our team is happy, our clients are happy. So also the fact that me and Brent, that in itself is a success. So by being able to work together and grow stronger, we've been able to grow the brand. And it's really cool now because we can wear our Coversure hats and people will go, hey, that's you guys are in insurance. And that never used to be the case 18 months ago. And by expanding and helping support community initiatives, especially in the health and fitness sector, it's really, really helped. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without working together. So I think that's how we would measure success. Brent, did you want to add anything?
No, I do absolutely agree with what you're saying. Yeah, no, the customer engagement is obviously huge, but equally important, I think, is the team environment and making sure that the team's well supported in everything that we do.
Yeah. So you've really intrigued me with your community kind of, health and fitness kind of, app, whatever you're doing in that area. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, if you mind sharing. Yeah. So
we're really, really big on supporting our communities, and to date, Coversure's been really proud to help sponsor over 20 initiatives actually. So we sponsor over 8 schools. Pre-COVID, we've helped send kids overseas to compete in competitions, but recently one of the biggest initiatives is, as an insurance brokerage, what can we do to prevent people from going down that unhealthy route? And that's basically health and fitness. So last year, Coversure was really proud to help sponsor over 200 people in health and fitness to help them prevent from actually making a claim. And not many insurance brokerages out there are like that. So we're sort of at the top of the cliff trying to stop you from falling down. So and it's great. It's again, that's sort of what's helped grow the brand. But I think also before as well, it's like by being open to change, by adapting through certain climates and embracing technology, it's not only helped with the community initiatives, but also with keeping our team together, keeping our team happy. That's also great as well. So yeah.
Love hearing that. I love that community aspect of what you guys are doing. And it's always refreshing to hear, you know, through such a turbulent kind of last 2 years, to hear about folks that have, you know, really excelled, or they've had a, you know, they've grown and things are moving on the up and up. I think we're all starting to hopefully start to see the end of this tunnel that we've been in, and starting to feel that exhale coming, the inhale after that, you know. Yeah, so I definitely, what great success you have to share with us there. Now, you've touched on a number of digital tools kind of already, but let's start right from the basics. I'd love to hear about, so because you guys are under the same umbrella, you have one website, is that correct? Yeah,
that's correct.
Yes. And who's your website provider? Who do you use?
So the website's hosted by WordPress, and the company that did our website's Venu Digital, and they're based in New Zealand. So it's great that we're able to, you know, also work with local New Zealand-owned businesses, and that helps support us. Having a website is so important to adding credibility to your business, but a website that functions and is fit for purpose is also just as important. So our website actually integrates with Jotform, and then our Jotform integrates with, it also integrates with MailChimp as well. So we're able to collect data and segregate certain clients out by like certain hobbies. We might have clients that are into rugby or into golf, and we can do specific lead generating campaigns to those markets. But yeah, I think by having an engaging website and making it fit for purpose is key, and that's helped add to our success as well. What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, I just share your sentiment, really. It's yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's key. I think having a website certainly brings validity to whatever it is that you're doing. And I think it's sort of a cut above doing. I think that social media is very important to any business, but I think, yeah, just having that website, I think, just brings a little bit more credibility to as I say, to whatever it is that you do. So, yeah.
And one of the biggest things that we agreed on early on was that it's great to have a website, but we also need to make sure that it's fit for purpose and functions on mobile devices as well. What we're seeing as data is that most of our traffic is coming from mobile platforms, not hardly desktops. So having a website that caters to, you know, your mobile phones and your tablets is just as important. And I feel like some businesses sort of forget that, because when you go onto some businesses' websites, it's not formatted correctly, and you're like, oh, this doesn't look right. So that's just as important. Yeah.
I just want to pay you to come on and talk about this all the time on Digital Boost, because like, you know, I can't tell you how often we chat about this with the experts that come on, the digital experts that come on, and they just, the importance of being mobile optimized is so important. It's so great to have somebody else come on and say the same thing from their business perspective, and having the fit for purpose aspect of a website, and having a website in general, you know, like you said, Brent, is really great to have your social media, and you need to have those, but your website actually provides that authority, doesn't it? It's like, hi, I'm a real website. I have, you know, I'm a real, we are real, because a lot of things aren't real on social media, aren't they? And not all websites are real either, but you can create aspects of your website with your compliance and all of those things that can help your clients to realize that you are a proper website, and one of the signals that you can see with that, if you look at somebody's website, is that little lock at the top, which means that they've gone through the work to get their website approved. So if you're out there wondering about those kind of things, and also a Google My Business, often can help to verify that, because businesses have to be verified by Google in order to get a Google My Business page. And so that's another great way to create authority that you are actually a legit business. So I love hearing that. Now, you did not build your website yourself, and I'd love to know, what the reason was that you decided to outsource that work.
Well, I think for us, it was a combination of time, but also we don't know how to do it. So
that's fine. That's great.
People make it look easy, but it's not. We were looking. It could have been cheaper to get it done overseas or via other platforms such as Fiverr. But we're really big on supporting New Zealand businesses, and we're happy to pay that extra if it's going to help them out. And full disclosure, they are not clients of ours. So hurry up, Venu Digital. But no, yeah. So they originally were a local business based in Papuka, and we reached out to them. We shared them our vision and what we wanted to do, and they were keen to jump on board and help us out. And right from the start, I was blown away by, wow, I can't believe I was almost going to attempt this on my own, and I'm so glad I did it. So saving, even though you're paying for upfront costs for a website, if you add up your value and your time, you're actually saving so much more money, because that way it allows me and Brent to just focus on the business, to focus on what we're good at, which is helping protect, clients nationwide with their assets and their risks. And we couldn't do that if we had to build our own website at the same time. The great thing as well is that the way that it's been built and designed is that it can scale up. And this is this is actually the third version of our website within a space of 2.5 years. And that's solely because of the phenomenal growth that we've had. We've had to update and scale up. And because it was built right the first time round, the scaling up cost isn't that much. Whereas if we had to redo it again, it'll probably cost us an arm and a leg. And it's been great
there. I love what you've said there. It's I think investing in a good foundation is always a really good place to start if you can. And there are a lot of grants out there for small businesses. So if people are worried about costs, I'd encourage you to see what your local chambers have on offer for you as far as small business grants. There was some for Tamaki Makaurau for Auckland that were going out there for getting help just investigating, and then also for implementation. So, and a lot of chambers give out grants. I would just encourage you to have a look around. Did you want to add to that, Brent?
Well, I guess what I'd just sort of say is that because we did choose to go down the route of paying someone to organise, all of the bones and everything of the website, I think just to re-emphasise Jason's point, like it really does, because those sorts of things can be really time-consuming and take away your focus from what your core business is. And it really can distract you for quite some period of time. So by having that sort of support and expertise, it really allowed us to keep building and growing and doing what we're good at doing, as opposed to spending time and trial and error and so on and so forth through trying to build a website. So I just firmly recommend using experts wherever you possibly can. Not just for websites, but just where the budget allows, and so it doesn't take away from your own core business of what you're doing and what you're actually trying to achieve. I just think that's a really important point.
I think there was something we chatted about previously. You went through kind of like not a rebranding, but and I think this is important for businesses as well. While we're talking about websites and we're talking about appearance and how everything is fit for purpose, you went through a little bit of a journey there when you went for that full umbrella of Coversure and making sure that everything aligned. Can you tell us a little bit about that, either Jason or Brent?
That's embarrassing, eh, Brent? You had to bring that up. So the logo that you see in the top left is, that's the Coversure brand and logo, and that's always been the same. But what wasn't the same was our theme or our brand guidelines. So our business cards looked different from our letterheads, looked different to our website, looked different to our PowerPoint presentations, and it wasn't until later on when we clicked Brent, we were like, oh, this doesn't look right. They're like, what are we? So
it takes a lot of discipline, I think, as well.
It does,
to organize that sort of thing. And you could, sorry, you go.
No. And again, that was just because we were DIYing it. We were doing it ourselves because we were like, wow, okay, let's just do it ourselves. And then actually we realized we were so outside our lane, it wasn't funny. And we actually, what we initially did was we outsourced it to a platform called Fiverr just to do some initial concepts from a cost perspective point of view. It's more cost effective for us as a business to do it that way. But then we actually chose a New Zealand-based company to take those concepts and perfect the design. And that company is called Presence Design, which is owned and run by Ben Cooper, and another New Zealand-owned business, great designer, and he helped us with our brand guidelines. So the great thing is now is that all our media talk to each other. It's all aligned. So when you see a PowerPoint presentation and then you look at our business cards, there's synergies there. It looks the same. There's the same theme in our letterheads and even the shirts that we're wearing, Brent.
Great.
Yeah, and feel free to add to this, Brent. Like, yeah. So what do you think, Brent? Like, you like our theme? It's
yeah. I mean, I was pretty big on pushing for consistency. It's something that I really believe strongly in. Like, if you've got a brand, you've only got a finite amount of resources, so you've got to try to make sure that it's as consistent as it possibly can be, so that it's more of a chance of being recognised. So I think it's taken us a while to get there. But as Jason said, doing things, using companies like Presence Design to help with that sort of branding and guidance as well is really important, and making sure that you've got, because we've obviously got a team now as well, and making sure that you've got all of those tools that are available to everyone throughout the team, whether it's they're doing a PowerPoint presentation one day, or as you said, handing out a business card or looking on the website or whatever it is, and making sure you've got that consistency the whole way through. So whenever you have, say, an event or whatever, you already know what you're doing and how you're going to present everything up front. So it's made life easier now, but going through that sort of period of time of just trying to make sure everything's consistent and right, it just takes a little while and a little bit of discipline to get there.
Couple of heated moments there, or some divorcing moments almost. Like building a house, it's like, really, Brent?
Well, I guess that's any partnership, isn't it? Getting that alignment on every facet of a business. It's quite difficult when you've got different, your own mind.
Yeah, but our clients love it. The feedback and engagement that we received from our clients, they felt like it took it up a notch. And it really, we felt that by having brand guidelines and working with right people and also working with New Zealand businesses, it really, really helped set us apart from the rest and elevate us to other top tier insurance providers as well. So image is everything. And
that again is just one of those other points that creates like an authority. It gives you like a professionalism with everything that you do. I know that it really confuses me if I'm on, say, Facebook or something like that, or I'm on a social media platform and I'm looking at a business and then I go to their website and their branding doesn't match. I instantly think there's something wrong here. I don't know if I trust this. You know what I mean? It creates a distrust, actually, when you see that things don't match. And so that was like such a great story, because it also tells us that we grow organically, don't we? Like, you don't have to be perfect from inception, and you realize that that was something that wasn't in your scope, but now you've got it all on wraps. And I know that you use another tool for some of your production of possibly like materials that could be printed, or for things that you do online, Canva. Have you inserted your branding kit into Canva?
Yeah, definitely. And again, that was but that was Presence Design that did that for us. So I never heard of Canva until we engaged his services, and he said, well, it's great because I can show you, I can do the templates and do the guidelines for you in Canva, and you can do this yourself, which will save you even more money in the long run. So so we love Canva. I believe this virtual background that you're seeing here is from Canva. But the great thing is that the palette aligns with our again brand guidelines, because I didn't even know that there was a 6-digit code for our own color scheme. So we've got our own like 6-digit palette code that we have to use on everything, because if we don't, it's not part of the brand. And so it's great. Canva's been really great. We use it for doing campaigns, promotional, marketing ideas. It's a really good platform to use, Brent. It's
I mean, that's definitely Jason's wheelhouse, but it's all those things help. All those things help to create that branding consistency.
Brent's a ruthless critic, by the way. So
that's not my job.
Many a times
Jason brings the idea and I decide if it's good.
I spent hours on this poster and Ben will just go no.
Classic. I would like to say, if folks are tuning in, because I can see you on social media and stuff like that, or if you're here and you haven't used Canva and you don't know what we're talking about as far as having your branding put into Canva, we've actually done a session on Canva for branding, and it'll show you how to walk through and all of the features that the branding aspect of Canva has. So just a really brief overview. It even has the capability to help you pick your brand colors. So if you say you've got this blue color, you can say, I like this blue color, and it will give you complementary colors that would go along with that color. So it will tell you 2 other choices of colors that you could possibly use that'll work with that color that you liked as your base color. And you can actually insert your logo in there. Now, some of this is free and some of it is a part of their pro package. So in their free package, you can have, I think, 3 branding colors that just sit in your color palette for when you create things. But I don't think you can insert your logo without the pro package that you pay for. But I would say, depending on how much you use Canva or a platform like that, have a think about whether or not it's worth it to have that subscription, because some of the images that you can pull through are quite useful that are in the Pro series. So if you're using that kind of stuff a lot, I'd probably encourage you to, maybe that's a good spend, but if you just go in there every now and then to create some things, then there's plenty of things you can do in Canva for free. And just a little plug for a New Zealand-based Canva design space based out of Christchurch. John Boyle, he's been a guest of ours. They have it's like Canva for Kiwis. So made by Kiwis for Kiwis. And you can actually, he's right now creating a huge database of New Zealand-based images. So if your business really needs New Zealand-based images, then that site might be a really good fit for you. So do check it out. We like to support New Zealand businesses as well, Jason and Brent. Yeah, so that's cool. Awesome. I did pop your recommendation for Presence Design. I popped that website in all the chats across the platforms. I do need to grab the people who did your website. I will grab that before we leave, and I'll pop that in the chats as well, just to give them a bit of a shout out. But let's move on to some of the other tools. Now, you use Messenger to talk internally with your team, but also it sounds like a little bit externally. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have high engagement with our clients over Facebook. Okay. And we're one of the few insurance brokerages that have over a following of 3,000 people on our Facebook platform alone. And we get high engagement from people on Facebook just because they're on their phones and that's the device that they're using. So by utilizing Facebook Messenger and communicating with our clients, again, it's instant. We don't actually use the auto feature. There's always someone on our Facebook page ready to talk to you.
Really? Okay, so you use a live bot, like a live chat.
That's right, yeah. So there's always, so it's open to our team. They're always on standby and they're ready to engage, because that's what we do, right? they're approaching us for help. So wouldn't they want to talk to a real person? And that's one thing that we've really embraced. Even our 0800 number we have, it doesn't go to an answering machine or a dial 1, dial 2 for this option. Someone picks up the phone, says hello, and the first thing they ask is, how can we help you? As an insurance provider, that's our service to our clients. We're there to help them. So the last thing you want to do is have to go through 6 options and then get to an answering machine. So
do you get a question about that 1-800 number? Because we just had Simply Free on the other day, and they're like a VoIP service, which is like a digital service that connects, it's one number. For those of you who don't know what that is, it connects through. So you've got a number and it connects right to your employees or whoever, yourself, your phone, anywhere, so that somebody can always call and get somebody. You don't have to be in the office physically. Do you use something like that with your team?
Yeah, so we do. We actually have one person here, actually no, 2 people that are capable of answering those phones, and they're free to answer phones pretty much during business hours, 5 days a week. And as soon as they get it, they'll take the query, answer that, and then they notify one of our team members straight away. And if we're available to take the call to take it further, we do. But surprisingly, this day and age, most of our engagement, Brent, comes from social media or a digital way, or like emails. So it's I feel like things are shifting.
Yes, I don't really prefer to call people. What's your what social media platforms are you on?
So we're Brent, you can take it away.
We're obviously on clearly Facebook, Facebook Messenger. We do a little bit on LinkedIn. I personally use WhatsApp quite a bit as well, with WhatsApp Signal, those sorts of things with clients. And then we've got Instagram as well, are our sort of main methods of communicating with our clients.
So I guess my question is, as an insurance company, I can see why you would be using Facebook, and I can see why you would have, from what I've heard from you, you have a very minimal presence on LinkedIn because it's not really where your clients are looking for insurance, and I understand that. And we'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn in a second, but Instagram I find really interesting. Is there some research that you've done by having yourself on Instagram that's proven that was a really good place to engage with your customer base, or what was the meaning behind that site?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, because our team is so diverse, we find that members in our team heavily use. They all use social media, but they use different types of social media heavily. So obviously the likes of me and Brent, we're heavy Facebook users, so we engage with a lot of our clients on there. But we actually have about 2 members in our team that are heavy Instagram users and have quite the following themselves. We're also launching a TikTok page, I believe, in the next couple of weeks as well. So and again, like by our advisors come to us and they say, hey, can we do this? And it's like, well, yeah, you can. Here's our brand guidelines. And we push for them to use platforms that they're familiar with already, that they have strong engagement in, because it's helping spread our brand out there. And it could take me ages to figure out how to use Instagram, and I still wouldn't figure it out. So why don't we let someone else do that who's already heavily engaged in it? And by adapting to markets and by being open to change, we're able to have so much more exposure on different platforms that probably wouldn't have been the norm 5 years ago. So it's been awesome to grow with technology, grow with what's going out there in the outside world, and engage with more New Zealanders. It's been great.
Super insightful.
I think like through the last clearly since this pandemic started, both of us have been in insurance for a long time, and I think we'd both probably agree that it's certainly moved on a little bit from like a traditional sort of email / phone call or in-person visit to very different. And I think the other important one that we've mentioned at all is Zoom as well. Which is all of those sorts of features now are really heavily important, not only to us, but I think also to our clients, and just making ourselves a little bit more available to them all. And I think overall it makes it's easier for the clients and it's easier for us, so it's sort of a win-win for everyone. So yeah, just it's certainly moved on a lot in the last 12, 18 months to where we were 2 years ago. And how
A
we
little bit
communicate.
more about that, Brent. I want to talk a little bit more about your use of Zoom, because I know that after speaking with both of you, you've really had to adapt from doing face-to-face. And then there's also, you've really had to work with your clients, based off of the different mediums. So tell us a little bit more about that journey of moving from face-to-face to online, and how you've then further adapted it to make it a better experience for your clients.
Yeah, well, I think so for me, I was probably a relatively late adopter on the team. I know when we were initially handing out Zoom licenses, I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just go with the phone call. But I've certainly moved away from that. The second that I've got like Zoom and all that underhand, like it's the one. I mean, there's multiple benefits of using it as a tool. It's far superior than a phone call. You get the facial engagement. It's a huge convenience for clients, particularly when they're in business. They're not having to leave their office and go somewhere else, or they're not having to wait for you to schedule a meeting. They can be anywhere, So it's a huge benefit for the client in terms of the time saving, and it still gives us that intimate relationship building that we require in our business. But I think Jason's got probably a bit more of a backstory there, I guess, around how he started to use Zoom.
I hated Zoom. I was not a believer in Zoom. We're face to face. All our client meetings are face to face back then. And when the first lockdown happened, we were forced into using it. And it was just one of those things where you could just sit around and wait. I'm so glad we didn't, because if we did, we probably wouldn't be here today. And you have to be open to change. You have to adapt to the climate that you're in. So we had to figure out how to use Zoom. We watched YouTube videos on how to benefit from it. We actually watched Digital Boost videos as well. So yeah, there you go, plug in for Digital Boost. And it was great because it really opened our eyes to saying, well, this is the way moving forward. And we would probably average a few meetings a day, but with the use of Zoom, it was crazy. We were fully booked out from pretty much from morning to night. We were booked out, and that was all over Zoom. But the thing that we started noticing was not only us, but our clients would go through Zoom fatigue, because you go from using Zoom maybe once in a blue moon to now you're working on Zoom, you're chatting to people on Zoom, and then you're doing insurance on Zoom. And Avery, we asked ourselves, well, what can we do to provide a better experience for our clients? And we took the weatherman approach. So we would actually tell our clients, look, if you have the ability to mirror your laptop to the TV in the lounge, or if you can connect your TV in the lounge and put our Zoom on there, just do that, because it provides a better experience for our clients when they're simply sitting on their couch watching us do our thing, do our presentation, and they're a lot more engaging. One thing we also did really well, and this was probably a blessing in disguise, is that we shortened our Zoom meetings. So rather than having your typical 60-minute Zoom meeting, we broke one client meeting into 3 20-minute meetings. And it could be a 20-minute meeting in the morning, and then maybe one later on in the day, and then another one tomorrow. And we found doing it that way, we got higher engagement, we got a higher conversion rate, and overall a much more better client experience, because, during the lockdown, the kids are at home and they're having to be a parent, a worker, and a teacher all at home. So we asked ourselves, what can we do to accommodate our clients? And that was one thing that we came up with, and that's been one of our biggest successes, is accommodating to our client, but also accommodating to our advisors as well, because they're in the same situation too. So yeah, it's we love Zoom now.
I'm gonna say, you guys are thinkers. You guys are a powerhouse team. You really think about everything. You're so considerate. That's so considerate, honestly, to think about those clients and everything that they're trying to do at home and all the hats they're trying to wear. I just loved that bit of the story when you told me that. I thought, wow, who's thought of that? I wish some, I have not heard anyone tell me that they have done that for their clients. And I just thought, wow, that is just such a beautiful value set to have embedded in your business model, essentially, is what it is, and so, yeah, amazing. Love it. I love that.
I think early on as well, like when we were, getting involved in Zoom, and we'd often like talk as a team, as a greater team around, what was working well and what wasn't working well, and just sharing those experiences. And I think it sort of just boils down to ultimately what Jason's saying, just being able to refine that process and learning from each other as to what we do, because it is a different, it's a different medium to discuss things on. So so all of those little things just help just to make the experience better for everyone.
Yeah, fantastic. So we've talked about your social media. We haven't talked about LinkedIn a little bit. Like, I want to go back to LinkedIn for just a second, because everybody always says, what social media platform should I be on? Should I be on everything? Should I be on one platform? And it's, you've had a different approach where you've gone, where are my employees comfortable, in addition to where do my customers sit, and let's let them do a little bit of work on platforms that they're comfortable with, because they're going to be more passionate about promotion if they're on a platform that they're comfortable with. And I really like that approach, because it's not often what businesses do. So it's a little bit of a different take. But you did mention that you use LinkedIn. Now, I can first think, oh, okay, yes, of course you would be sitting on that platform because of the sector that you're in and what you do. And then secondly, I think, oh, well, actually, if you were looking for insurance, would you go to LinkedIn to find insurance? It wouldn't be where I would look for that. However, you might be looking for it if you're scrolling around on Facebook, or you know what I mean? Like I can see how that happens, because a lot of people shop on those platforms. And we get followed around by the pixel. But so tell me about why you've chosen to be on LinkedIn. And I know that you're going through a bit of an evolution, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is a different kind of beast altogether, and it was one that we sort of saved till last. Solely because we had a chat as a team, and we sort of agreed that, well, actually LinkedIn is one of those platforms where first impressions really do count. And yes, we could DIY it, but then we thought about it long and hard, and we thought actually we should engage the services of a professional. And obviously, as you know, our way, who's the local Kiwi around here that's going to help us break into LinkedIn? And that's Stanley from the Intention Seekers. And Stanley, Olivia, Alicia, I can't name the whole team. Have been
There's
amazing.
So many. They've grown their team so much over the past year. There's a new member every moment, I swear. Yeah.
And so obviously, with the growth and success that we've had, we feel like the natural evolution is to, well, let's get into LinkedIn now and crack into that. And our thought process behind LinkedIn is really to build credibility. It's another form to have credibility as well, where people, they sort of will look at your Facebook and then they'll look at LinkedIn and say, hey, who is Jason Venu? So Jason Venu is the family man on Facebook, whereas Jason Venu on LinkedIn is the business owner and director of personal risk for Coversure. And having those sort of two marry up is awesome, because it enables us to engage with potentially SMEs, so small to medium-sized enterprises in New Zealand, which is what we're really passionate about. We're really passionate about helping small businesses, helping provide them the best cover, both Brent with their assets, but also themselves, to potentially large corporates. But the great thing as well is that it's opened the door to large organizations that we never would have thought of helping, like iwis. So right now we're working on a massive private group scheme for an iwi based in Auckland, which is going to be massive if we can get this across the line. And we would have been able to get that credibility if it wasn't for LinkedIn. But working with Stanley, he's going to take it up a notch, and he's going to help bring us out of our shells on LinkedIn. You know what, we're slightly nervous about it, but with his guidance and his help along the way, I think we're going to be okay. And watch this space.
That's what Stanley does. He doesn't tire. It's quite phenomenal to watch. He's obviously been a big contributor to Digital Boost from the inception. He's been like, you probably, if you're watching, you might have watched a video with Stanley and not known that it was him. He is kind of known as the LinkedIn kind of guy. in general, like his team, his branding is on point. Whenever I say orange, black, white, I know it's Stanley coming in there, and he really does expand his team with value. And I think that, when he brings somebody on, it's because they're going to bring something special to what he's doing. And it's quite cool. He's quite encouraging. He's an interesting fellow. So I've dropped the name of his business, The Attention Seeker, in there, but I'll drop also the website in there, and I'll put the Verum digital website in the chat as well. So I'll just grab that Attention Seeker here in a moment. But I think that's really interesting what you said. You kind of said, hey, we wanted to be good at these other ones first. Great, because that's what a lot of experts say. You just intuitively did it. They're like, don't try to be everywhere. Pick a couple platforms. So pick one platform, get good at that platform, and then expand. Don't overwhelm yourself. So that you just intuitively went to that. And it's okay to go outside and ask for a bit of help from an outside organization when you're ready, if you need it, to get your social media on point on a certain platform. And I would also recommend, if you want to DIY it on LinkedIn, just go and have a look at what other people in your industry are doing and see what kind of posts are they're posting, and see what's working for them, because you can see the kind of reactions and the comments. Watch some videos. We've got lots of videos on LinkedIn, and there are so many tips in there on how to make your posts actually grow organically, because there is some organic reach on LinkedIn. Unlike like Facebook and Instagram, it's really hard to create organic reach, but LinkedIn, you can still do that. And but you do need to understand how the algorithm works. So to kind of move into some of the last facets of what we're doing, you are finance, your insurance. What kind of cybersecurity do you use? How do you make sure that your clients' data is safe?
Do you want to go? I can go first.
Yeah.
So, we obviously use like the basic stuff. I'm trying to actually think what my basic antivirus type software on all of our systems. We've also got online cloud storage and offsite hosting of our CRM, which is again security authenticated. I don't know, Jace, did you want to talk a little bit about what happens on your side of it as well?
Protecting our clients' data is probably one of the most important parts of our business. And when we're aligning or using softwares and platforms, we need to make sure that those platforms have security measures in place so that there's no data breach, because it's really sensitive information that we're collecting from our clients. So like Brent touched on, like all our devices have the most up-to-date antivirus and anti-cyber attack programs and softwares. But just to double up on that, what we do is we have our data backed up daily by an external IT company known as Entity, and again based right here in New Zealand. So they're called Entity, and that's owned and run by a guy named Stu McGregor. And when we initially were starting up, he approached me and he said, hey, look, we can do something for you to help protect your client data, but not only that, back up your data, because if God forbid, if we were ever attacked, or if we were ever held to ransom, because it was backed up the day before, it enables us to continue as a business. We're not held to ransom at all. We can still help our clients, service our clients, and add more clients to Coversure because of the measures that we've taken in place. The CRM as well, we use monday.com, and the security measures they have in place is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's so strong that we're really confident in what they're able to provide for us and our clients, protecting our clients' data. But the other great thing as well is that they also back up their data too. And they also give us the ability to do physical backups, meaning that we can back up our own data through them, and we do that once every couple of weeks. But bear in mind that we're getting backed up daily with an IT company based in New Zealand, plus Monday.com, who back up daily. Then we do ours a couple of weeks, plus the anti-software systems that we have in place. We're like, touch wood, we've done as much as we can and possible to help protect our clients' data and business as well.
And we obviously also have cyber insurance.
And we have cyber insurance, which Brent Denny can provide for you and your businesses as well.
Plug, yeah. But absolutely. I mean, these are real things. Cybersecurity is one of the hottest topics in the now. Like, that is what people are talking about as we grow technology, as we move into more AI, as we move into being more digital and being online. You know, cybersecurity is not an AI system. It's not a disruptive technology, but it's linked to so many disruptive technologies. It's a facet that is now being built into systems, into software, because we're realizing that it shouldn't be something that's done after as an afterthought. You know, it needs to be in the inception of these ideas, these technologies. So I always like to ask about that kind of stuff, because I think it's something that a lot of businesses overlook, is the data. It's not sexy, is it? Like, you know, security isn't sexy, but it is necessary, you know?
It's definitely one of those things that as a business owner and a director, you should really be involved in. So totally agree. And so definitely be involved in it. And also, like, simple things like back to basics. If it looks like spam, don't open it, check it. You know, little things like that. That's, I feel, some people forget. Definitely, don't forget the basics though.
Yeah. And let's finish up on your finance. Like, who are you using for your financial platform? Have you always used this? And do you use it in conjunction with other things?
Yeah. So for the Coversure life insurance side of things, for our CRM, we were using a different system, but we found that the engagement from our advisors wasn't high, and it wasn't really working to us. We felt like this old system, we had to change our processes and our approach to our clients to suit that system, and we weren't having it. So we searched high and low, and we found Monday.com, where we were able to purpose build a platform in a CRM that adapts to our processes, our approaches, and by doing that, we noticed that our engagement from our advisors is 100%. It's a platform that enables us to communicate internally on a specific client record, meaning that we don't have to send an email to the advisor for an update. We simply click in the CRM, hey, how's this one going? And instantly they'll get an update. But the biggest thing that we appreciate is that it's on your mobile phone. So our advisors don't have to go home and then open the laptop and then update it. They can update everything on the go. And that platform then talks to a finance platform that we use called Events. Events is a platform that life insurance advisors use, which visually shows our clients a projection from now to the age of 65, what would happen to them if, God forbid, they passed away, or if they suffered an illness and injury where they couldn't work anymore. How would that look financially in the long run? And through using Zoom, and because they're on their TV and because we're so visual, it's created such high engagement and positive responses from our clients, and also has added to our strong conversion rate of turning this prospect into a client. So by educating our clients, which is important to us, and showing them how we can protect them as a company, using these tools has really, really helped us along the way.
And I guess on our side, we do use slightly different platforms we sort of discussed earlier. So a big one for us is a platform called Office Tech, which allows us basically to store all of our customers' data and records, including things like, say they've got like photographs of some of their assets, or they want us to store videos or whatever it is. We can put all that onto the respective client's record, which is a huge benefit. And then we also have like another system that we utilize that does all of our basic sort of invoicing out of, and that also talks to some of the insurer systems, which allows us to easily bind business with a insurer or multiple insurers, and it cuts down a lot of that duplication of work, because they talk to each other. It allows us to only input the data once rather than multiple times into our systems, and really helps us a lot with processing and accuracy of information. And then finally, we also obviously use, or both of our organisations both use, Xero as well as our accountancy software. but it's the only one that we've ever known. Both on advice from our accountants, it's the, we've been told it's the way to go, so it's all we know. And that's been a huge help as well. Like there's obviously again, record keeping for the accountancy, the accountants themselves, they love it. We don't have to code every month, but it's about the extent of it. So it's really light and easy to use.
It provides that transparency, doesn't it, at all times? What accountants do you use? Just
we use different ones, actually.
We use different ones, and again for privacy data and protection.
Right. Because we've got a number of representatives. We've got a number of accountants that come on here and educate our SMEs, and they use Xero. The ones that we've had on have predominantly used Xero. So We Accounting has come on, and they have a focus on Maori and Pacifica, and they have a location even in Samoa, and really beautiful accounting firm. And then we have the Comic Accountant, or SH Advisory, and Sam comes on, and he's got a team of folks, and he used to be an educator at a university level in finance, and he uses Xero. He really loves it. So and then of course Xero has come on a number of times here to assist in the Digital Boost initiative, and we really appreciate their involvement. And then it's always lovely to hear that something's working out for you and your accountant. So just wondering, since I know Stanley and you're working with Stanley, and there's been so many little nuances that have overlapped. I was like, oh, maybe you're using somebody I know there too. That was a bit of my own sticky beak. Sorry.
So we use an accountant based right here in Papakura. So we, again, supporting local, known as Robux. So they have, I think, like over 20 or 30 accountants that they, again, local as well. So we were with supporting our local communities and decided to go with him. And they've provided great service, again, great advice, hands-on support, and having someone local just means that if there is an issue that can't be really discussed over the phone, we can just pop in and see them now, because you can now, and just talk it out, which is great. And so I don't know, Brent, who do you use?
I use a long-time friend of mine based down in Christchurch, which is my hometown. So Matt Bendel from PBA.
Shout out to these accountants. Yeah. No, it's great. It's
it works really well, the relationship. So
that's another thing you shouldn't DIY, guys, is accounting. Use the professionals.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Again, it's time saving. Time saving. Focus on what you're good at.
I was actually saying yesterday, I had done an interview with Sam from SH Advisory, and he was just letting us know, and he was like, if your accountant's just filing your taxes, that's not enough. Really, like if you own a business, they should be in there. They should be able to help you think forward, help you to figure out where you can reinvest, figure out how you can, where's your cash flow out, how you can kind of grow your business and scale up. So, make sure that you're getting really good value out of the folks that you're engaging with in that aspect, because it is it underpins your whole business finance, doesn't it? I mean, like, it's just one of those things that you can't get away from. So shout out to all these NZ businesses. I love it.
Couldn't agree with you more though. Like with Robux advice, like they're thinking of the future, and they're doing our forecasting and asking us, well, how can we help grow Coversure, which is great because they've got that experience and advice there. And again, like we've grown from a lone ranger to now 10 advisors all around the country, which is amazing. So yeah, it's been great. It's having the right advice and surrounding yourself with the right people is the way to go.
Yeah.
I want to finish this session with just a bit of advice from both you, Brent, and Jason. What advice do you have for some people just getting started? It doesn't have to be about business, I guess. Maybe this is just a life lesson you've learned along the way that's helped you in business. So please share with us your wisdom.
I think, okay. Well, for me personally, it's all about ultimately about people, really. I think, and like partnering with people that both have like enough in common with you so that you get along well enough, but also have enough that's not in common with you, so that you can kind of like bounce ideas off, because everyone's got their strong points in life, And and I think it's really important to get that sort of balance and understanding of from a different perspective, and having those different ideas, broadcast through to you. So, and I think that that's true of, it's not only just any business partners, but I mean, also the greater relationships that we're talking about before, whether it's your accountant or your web hoster or whoever it is, just making sure that you're getting those right people around you that bring like a skill set possibly that you don't quite have to the table, and making sure that helping you think of everything that perhaps possibly you don't naturally want to think of straight away. Definitely getting the right people around you for me has been probably key.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how about you, Jason?
Get insurance is probably the first one. and secondly, insurance with Coversure. But no, I think I sort of share Brent's sentiment, and I think the biggest thing is stay away from the yes man. You'll always be around people that'll be like, yeah, that's great, yeah, that's great. But I think one of the great things about aligning with Brent and also advisors is that they challenge you to be better. So surround yourself with the right people, and when I say the right people that are proactive, that are solutions-based, and also that are probably your biggest critics, because they just want nothing but the best for you. So prepare to be challenged, but take that advice on board the right way. Never personally, Brent, and that they only want the best for you. So that's probably my words of wisdom there, and I'll give that to you for free.
Oh, thanks, mate. I have absolutely loved this talk. We got so much value out of this today here at Digital Boost, and I just want to thank you for taking this time out of your busy schedules to educate us on your journey and share with us some words of wisdom for free. We love anything free over here. No, honestly. We're wishing you the best of luck with your continued success, and we look forward to hearing about your journey further on down the line. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Digital Boosters tuning in everywhere, and thank you again, Jason and Brent, for joining us here on Digital Boost.
No, thank you for having us, and thank you, Digital Boost. Yeah, awesome.
Our pleasure. Have a wonderful day, folks. See